Hi, this is Julie Hyatt with Three Sisters Sundries. Sorry, that is quite the tongue twister. I have got my cover for my signature swap book already decorated, and I am ready to glue the fabric onto my cardboard pieces that I have prepared. So I am just going to lay them out with a little bit of space in between each one, well, between the spine and the covers. And then I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to glue the fabric on. So I'm going to do one piece at a time, obviously, but I'm going to put a generous amount of Fabri-Tac on my cardboard. I am not in camera, so I'll move over a little bit. And then I'm going to just wipe it around a little bit with my finger so that there's no lumps, and get it spread around good. Then I'm going to lay it on in between my little stitching lines. I took my basting out of my fabric, and it left holes, so it'll just add to the character, but I'm just going to rub this down really good onto my cardboard, making sure it's adhered all the way around. Okay, looks pretty good. So I'm going to do my spine. I want to use the other side. No. Yes, this is what I want to do. So good, generous bit around the edge, and then some through the middle. Oh. Rub it around with my finger to smooth it out just a little bit. Okay, and then leaving a little bit of space, about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. You just want enough room for the book to close without buckling. So that looks pretty good. And I will do this last one. Okay, rub it around with my finger. Leave a little bit of space and press it on there really good. Now I'm going to turn it over and just use my hand to press it down. I can still see through the fabric a little bit. This fabric is really thin, and I can actually see my glue lines. So I hope that the glue dries pretty clear. Okay. Now I kind of want to put a little bit of a, if I can feel a little bit of a crease in between my spine and the cover. So I think I'll use my bone folder to just kind of, I wish I could feel it a little bit better. I have a stitching line, don't I? Okay. So then I'll just put a little bit of a crease down there. There. And that will close it really nicely. Now I want to just fold this over, and I'm going to add some paper on, probably on the spine too, but definitely on the insides of the covers. So I want to trim down my fabric, my book cloth, to about 1 inch. Or all the way around. And it's okay if it's not perfectly even. Oh, that side's a little short. Okay, and then that'll give me plenty of space to fold over, but so that the corners aren't bulky, I'm going to angle into the corner and leave a tiny bit. So angle into the corner on both sides and just leave a tiny bit at the corner so that you don't have bare cardboard hanging out, or so that I don't have bare cardboard hanging out. Okay, then we will fold this over and glue it down with some Fabri-Tac. So I'm going to put the glue on the fabric this time on my book cloth. Kind of make sure it's really close to the edge of the cardboard so that it adheres to the end there, and then fold it over, and you can kind of put it up on its end to help fold that fabric over, and then just pull it tight and burnish it good. Maybe I'll use my bone folder for that if I can find it in my mess here. Burnish that down really good on the edges. And that dries pretty quickly, so I think we can move on to the other edge, the other end. And so I don't bore you to death, I will get my edges glued and I'll be back when I'm finished. Okay, I've got all of my fabric glued down, and I've been thinking about what I want to do for a closure. And I found this pretty ribbon that I got at the Denver Stampin' Scrapbook Expo. So I think I want to use that, and I was trying to decide what kind of, how I wanted to attach it. And I have these little, I don't know, ribbon things. I don't know, but it has a little clip that I could clip on either side and then attach it with a little brad, and then I can tie my ribbon to this. So this is the time that I will want to do that, because then I can hide the back of the brad in the thing. So under the paper on the cover. So I need to find my ruler and measure the center. Okay, I've got my centering ruler, and so I want to center that. That looks about right, except, yeah, put it in that little hole there. So this is about where I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna have to bend this a little bit to fit over the thickness of this cover. So, hoping that this is gonna work. I don't want it to stick out too far. I'll try and push that on there a little bit more. And then I'm going to get my pokey tool and poke a hole carefully so I don't hurt myself through cardboard, and then I can put my brad in. Oh, good, it worked all the way. Oh, that is a thick cover and a tiny little brad. So it's going to be hopefully it will be stable enough that it will hold. So let me push that down as much as I can on either side there. There. Okay, so that'll be good, and then I'll put the other one on. Okay, there we go, and then I can tie my ribbon to either side and then just tie a bow. Although it's going to be really fat, so it's going to be more like this, or sorry, more like this, and tie a bow rather than this. So that'll be pretty cute. Okay, and then I need to find some paper to cover the inside. Hi, I'm back. I just realized that the whole time I was doing my paper on my cover, it wasn't recording. So here's where I am. I have chosen this cute doodlebug paper, and I am just gluing it on to the inside of my book cover, and I've got enough to cover my spine also. So I'm just gluing that in with a little bit of Fabri-Tac. And oh, I left the lid off and it exploded on me. There we go. So I'm just gluing it on with some Fabri-Tac. And then I added some binder clips to the edge so that it can dry and be held in place, and make sure that the edges get good and dry before, or anyway, sealed up good before it dries. So I'm just adding a few binder clips, especially to the corners here. And really good on this center right here over my closure. Might run out of clips. Probably not. Got a lot. Okay. Then I will just glue the spine on. And I've put the paper all the way to the edge of my cardboard so the cardboard doesn't show. My daughter Ellen is here helping me, so she's my third hand. Okay. So we'll put a few binder clips on there, and then
You got a few out, Mom.
I will be I will be back when these are dry. Okay, I'm back, and my covers are dry, so I'm going to now stitch in the signatures. So to do that, I have cut a piece of graph paper the same size as my inner spine there, and I am going to mark where I want my signatures. So I have 4 signatures, so 2.5 inches. I didn't figure this out, and I want 1/4 of an inch. I have to do math, that's difficult. Okay, finally figured it out. I'm going to do 1/2 inch in between each signature. They're pretty fat and I have plenty of space, so 1/2 inch in between each one. So I am going to actually fold my paper along each 1/2 inch line. And actually, since I have graph paper, I probably don't really need to fold them, but makes it a little easier. Actually, maybe I'll just fold the one because I will need to put that in my, fold it the other direction. I'll need to put that in my signatures. Okay, and then I'm going to fold in half lengthwise because I'm going to put 3 stitches in each, or 3 holes in each signature. So that will be my center hole for each signature. So I'm just going to mark my center hole for each signature. Then I am going to fold up the end to the halfway mark, and that will be my other line, or my other hole on each signature. And then I will make a mark at that fold line. Oh, not there. Okay, make a mark at each 1/2 inch. Okay, so that is those will be my holes for my signature. So I will bring back my cover. I need my phone book. Okay, I use my phone book underneath so that when I poke my holes, and I need to mark the top. So when I poke my holes anyway, it doesn't go into my mat. So I'm going to mark the top in case I turn it around. So I'm going to clip this on so that it makes it easier to, if I clipped it in straight, it would be good. Okay, clip that in straight. That way it won't shift around while I'm poking my holes. Okay, so then I just need to poke a hole for each hole, or each marking that I've made here. Okay, then on the other side you can see my little holes. I might poke those through. I think I will. I want to use a bigger needle because I'm using baker's twine to sew it. So I think I'll poke through from this side and just make sure that I have a plenty big enough hole to put my needle through. Anyway, I will do that in a minute. We'll move on. Okay, now to do my signatures, I am going to take my little folded piece. I'm going to make sure all of my signature, or all my pages in my signature are lined up. That is a very fragile one there. Lined up with each other. And then I'm going to put another clip in. To hold those in place while I poke the holes, because they tend to shift around a little bit while you poke holes. So I'm going to lay this in, making sure that my top mark is in the top of my signature, and line it up with my pages and make sure that that fold is down in the fold of my signature really well, and then just poke another hole in each of the 3 markings there. Okay, so I will get all of my signatures done and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I've got all my holes not punched, poked into my signatures, and I've got my cover ready, and I have threaded a needle with some baker's twine, and I measured 4 times the length of my spine to get the amount of thread I need. Now I need to wax it, so I have this little wax tool that I got at the fabric store, and I'm just going to lay my, Let's see, let me make sure I get most of it waxed here. I'm just going to lay my twine into one of the grooves and pull it through. And I'm going to pull it through a couple of times. Make sure all my sides are waxed here. Okay, and I'm going to start with my back signature. Okay, I'm going to go through the middle hole, and leave a bit of a tail, and then go through the middle hole on the end signature. This is going to be really hard, I'm thinking, because it's kind of a tight hole and I'm using a really big needle. There we go. And then I'm going to tuck my signature in, go through the bottom, go back through the bottom hole, then, oh goodness, that's tight. Then go through the bottom hole in my signature, which is kind of hard to see because I've got a doily. Gets right. Oh goodness, where is it? Right there. Oh, now I see it. Right there. Gosh, problem with getting a needle that's big enough for baker's twine is that it's too big to put through your signatures easily. Okay, then kind of pull that a little bit tight. Now we're going to go up to the top hole and go down. And then go through the cover. My trusty spool to help push it through. And then go back up through the center hole. Okay, now when we go through the center of the signature, there we want to make sure that we have our thread going through. We want to make sure we have one end on one side and the other end on the other side of that. And we're going to pull, let's see, I'm going to pull this one tight through here. Okay, so now we have our signature sewn in, and we're going to tie a knot. And then I'm going to snip them off a little bit shorter. And I have a heart-shaped punch and some of this old flowery paper. And I'm just going to punch out 4 hearts. And I'm going to glue them on the ends of my strings that I have here with a little bit of fabric tack again. Get off the goobers. A little bit of fabric tack, and then stick one of these ends in And I'm just going to kind of roll it around to make sure it's covered on both sides. And put another heart on top. And I think I will put a piece of scrap paper to dry that on so it doesn't stick to my book. So I will put the other heart on the other string and get the rest of my signature sewn in, and I'll come back and show you the end result. Okay, I've got my book finished, and so I thought I would just show you the end result. I've got my ribbons tied on and tied in bows, a double bow, and then I've got my baker's twine showing on the spine. I really like the way that turned out. And there's my back cover. And let me just open and show you how the signatures look inside. And I ended up putting a little bit of tissue paper. I got one of the signatures came wrapped in this beautiful gold foil tissue paper, and I wanted to incorporate it somehow, and I also wanted to cover up this seam right here with the chipboard for the covers was showing a little bit, so I decided to put the gold foil tissue paper right there to help cover that up and to incorporate it in the book. So there are my signatures all sewn in, and kind of a nice little chunky book, and I really like the way it turned out. So give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I will probably do a flip through next and show you all the insides. Thanks for watching.